And finally, some sobering news. The Himalayan glaciers are dying. They may lose 75% of their ice by the end of this century. Let me repeat that. 3/4 of the Himalayan glacier could melt by the end of 2100. And this will put about 2 billion people at risk. That's a quarter of humanity. These are the findings of a new report. Here's more.
The Himalayas, the tallest mountain range in the world. They connect to a lot of other ranges, like the Hindu Kush, Karakoram, and Pamirs. Together, these linking ranges are the roof of the world. This great range is sometimes referred to as the Hindu Kush Himalayas. These mountain ranges contain great peaks, like Mount Everest, K2, and Kanchenjunga. In fact, all of the world's top 100 peaks are part of these ranges. But that's not all. They also contain some of the world's greatest glaciers. And these glaciers feed some of the mightiest rivers: the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, Mekong, Yangtze, and others. All of them are fed by the Hindu Kush Himalayas, and in turn, these rivers help feed and sustain billions. Around 2 billion people across Asia depend on these rivers. And all these people, making a quarter of the human race, are in danger, because the life-giving glaciers of the Himalayas are melting at an unprecedented rate. The International Center for Integrated Mountain Development, or ICIMOD, in Nepal has released a report. It says that Hindu Kush Himalayan glaciers could lose 75% of their ice by the year 2100. And this is not something that can be fixed later.
Some of these changes, glacier melt, this decline in snow cover, these are irreversible. Once the glaciers are gone, it's gone.
Why is this happening? Global warming, of course. When measuring human-made climate change, we follow a base measure: the average global temperature before the Industrial Revolution. The world is currently set to get 3 degrees Celsius hotter than pre-industrial levels. This will be by 2100. Now, 3 degrees Celsius may not sound apocalyptic, but that's the global average temperature change. Some areas will heat up more than others, and fragile ecosystems like the Hindu Kush Himalayas will be worse affected. In fact, the effects of global warming are already showing. According to the ICIMOD, Himalayan glaciers melted 60% faster since 2010 than in the previous decade.
But looking at the data from satellites, we can see just from 2000 and 2009, and then to the following decade, there was a significant increase, over 60% increase in the glacier melt. And that's huge in just 10 years. And this is going to have really big consequences.
60% faster in just a decade. And the effects are visible to all who go there.
Before, we used to melt the ice from the glacier for drinking water. We still drink water, but from that is already melted and collected in ponds.
These ponds he's talking about eventually become glacial lakes, and when they form quickly, they are unstable. This leads to them bursting and sending a destructive torrent of water downstream. One of the worst examples of this is from India. In 2013, a glacial lake burst and flooded the town of Kedarnath. Thousands were killed in the pilgrimage site. Disasters like that will become more common as the Himalayan glaciers rapidly melt. And that's until the glacial waters are around. Once they get depleted, the rivers will start drying up. Mighty rivers like the Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mekong, and Yangtze will all start to dwindle. This will affect the lives and livelihoods of 2 billion people. 1/4 of the human race. It's a disaster of uncomparable magnitude just waiting to happen. Before it does, governments around the world need to wake up. They cannot take climate change lightly. They need to aggressively move towards sustainable climate goals. If not, they will be a reason for unparalleled human suffering in the years to come.